Hey guys, welcome to Soul on Fire. My name is Noelle Agape and I am your host, and I am the leading expert in health, wellness, and consciousness. I am so excited today because I am with my soul sister. She's backstage and she's coming on and she's just going to bring love and light to you guys. Amanda Samoyloff is the most beautiful light I know. She is a poet. She brings her creative expression to the world through poetry. She is owns an entrepreneur and she owns her own business, as well as she's does a massive PR expert, and she's incredible in media. She's incredible in all forms and a super beautiful creative soul. She is one of my favorite humans on this planet and definitely my soul sister. We're gonna play a little bit, but we're gonna go deep into the journey of understanding your soul growth and what that looks like, especially being a creative, being an empath, being in this world today with the energies of this world today. There's so much going on today. So we are going to talk a little bit about going deep into your soul and going into the darkness, but how you bring through the darkness actually is the light. And so through your pain is your purpose. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We both have incredibly dark stories that turned into light, and we are living our purpose at the highest level and bringing our gifts out to the world. So a few life hacks for you guys just before we get started, and then we're gonna bring on my beautiful soul sister, Smoy. So a life hack of what soul growth actually looks like, right? Soul growth is one of the most important things that you can do on this journey because it is the highest level of growth. It's not just, oh, I'm gonna set some goals and in 90 days, I'm gonna lose 10 pounds or I'm gonna make $10 million this year or whatever it is. Soul growth is actually the reason and the purpose that you came here on this planet and you embodied in a human, to be a human. And so through that, there's often a journey that is not an easy expression of life, right? And through that is always, when you go through soul growth, that you may lose people in your life that you love more than anything, that you thought that were there for a lifetime. You may actually change who you are. A lot of people may have labels on you and don't like your growth because they don't like where you are. So they might want to keep you small. They want to keep you in that box because truly, when you grow, doesn't mean that everybody is coming with you, right? And so one of the things that I do want to talk about before I bring Smoy on is that there's a season, a reason, and a lifetime for everything, right? And so when you go into the season, reason, and lifetime and understand your soul's growth and your soul's journey and what that looks like, there are people that are coming into your life that are either supporting your soul's growth or actually you're living in the past and are not allowing you to move to a higher level, right? And so a season looks like the beautiful, fun, amazing people that come into your life and they just bring you joy and they're incredible and they light you up and they light your soul on fire, but they're only there for a very short amount of time, right? Those people come into your life, they teach you a lesson or they bring you to a higher level of consciousness. They expand your soul on a higher level and you enjoy life and you have this beautiful experience with them for a short season. Most of the time, those end very quickly, as those are just really, everybody is a soulmate. There's not, oh my gosh, I have one soulmate for the rest of my life. It really truly is everybody that's coming into your life is a mirror for you, and they actually allow you to grow. And it's literally people that are just showing you exactly where your level of consciousness is. And so the people that come in for a season, they're usually really fun and wonderful, and your heart gets exploded, and it's usually adventurous, it's fun, it's wonderful. But then when that season is over, just like the seasons of fall or winter or spring, they end very quickly, right? And so there's usually either a very short transition time or it ends just without notice, right? And those people are wonderful and beautiful and they have gifts to bring you as long as you know that they're just for a season, right? And then the reasons are, they're not so always fun. The reasons are basically they are the ones that come into your life and teach your life a soul lesson, and they come in with full force. And sometimes they're the ones that you have the most anger towards, or sometimes they're the ones that really upset you the most out of everybody. They are the ones that go deep into your soul, and they're either gonna tear things down, the old paradigms, and make you expand to a higher person of yourself, or they actually are are this beautiful, beautiful love, and you can get hurt by them. We come into this journey with soul contracts and sacred contracts, and we're going to go deep into that with Smoy, because she's an amazing expert at that, and she understands consciousness at the highest level. Basically, guys, the reasons are one of your hardest components, but they are the greatest lessons that your soul will ever learn. And I need you to hear this, and it's not going to be easy for many, is that your soul agreed to that. Your soul agreed to those reasons, right? And so everything is in divine timing. Everything is in divine perfection. And so if you live by that standard, really, truly, you understand that the reasons that people come into your life, they come in and sometimes they are the greatest lessons you'll ever have. And if you take a space of awareness and you take a space as the observer of the situation, as opposed to the victim of the situation, or as opposed to the attached person, right? If you just come from a conscious point of view and step back and see the reason that they were in your life, you will learn so much from that. And the next is the lifetime, right? These are the beautiful souls that we call soulmates or twin flames or whatever you want to call it. It's truly the ones that come on your journey with you for a lifetime. Sometimes they're not easy lifetimes, right? Sometimes we've decided to spend lifetimes with people, and it's like, oh, did we really agree to the lifetime? So usually, though, the lifetimes bring you joy. They're your soul. A lot of times, your soul family travels together, right? And so Smoy and I are soul sisters, and we, float off, and then we'll come back, and we'll float off, and the love's always there, and it's so amazing. And you'll have these people in your life that are just, your lifetimes, you connect instantly, and it's this incredible, beautiful, magnetic attraction that your soul just resonates with. And it's, from your soul that person is just this beautiful gift to you, and you get to go on the journey with them for this lifetime, right? And it is the most beautiful gift in the world when you understand this concept of season, reason, and lifetime. And it's pretty basic, right? It's just your soul jumps in and says, "Hey, we're gonna expand in this lifetime, and we're gonna be the best version of us that we can be." But if you look at relationships in every single way of your life, and you look at the people that are in your life, and you look at what they're mirroring to you, and you look at what your soul can grow from that, really, it's the easiest thing in the world if you identify them in a box. And sometimes your reasons turn into lifetimes, or sometimes your seasons turn into reasons that turn into lifetimes. And so you really never know, but while you're going through it, there's a season, there's a reason, and a lifetime. People come back into other people's lives all the time that were supposed to be, they've healed some wounds, and then they come back, right? Or people leave your life without explanation. And so when you understand relationships and soul growth on that level, it's such a beautiful gift, because you don't have attachment to the outcome, nor do you have attachment to the circumstances, right? So guys, again, just understand who's in your life, the season, reason, or lifetime. Everyone is a mirror for you. Everyone is an opportunity for you to grow on a higher level. Everyone's an opportunity for you to connect with you. Everyone, even Bob down the street or the mailman, is showing you where you are. If someone is not being nice to you, if someone is not, or is leaving your life, there is a purpose for that. You are here on purpose with purpose. And so if you start to live your life from a place of purpose, and you start to live your life knowing that you're here on purpose with purpose, and through everything is a purpose. So good, bad, or indifferent, these relationships are all teaching you. These relationships are all beautiful and divine, and they are all here in your life. Guys, so again, just season, reason, or lifetime. It's a super easy life hack. When you're struggling in your life in any way, just understand that this is happening for a season, a reason, and a lifetime. We will be right back. Our show today is sponsored by my company, Infinite Wellness, and Noelle Agape Global, and Soul on Fire. And guys, we are going to bring Smoy back in, and she is going to light up your soul, because when I tell you, she is probably one of the most creative people that I know, but one of the most conscious, beautiful souls that brings light through the darkness in every way. We'll be right back, guys. We'll see you soon. Hi guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you everybody that is watching on the replay. Today we are talking about your soul's growth and your soul's journey with one of my dear soul sisters, Amanda Samoyloff, and we call her Smoy. And she is seriously, she is a poet. She is a gift to this world. She is a PR magnet. She lives in Hollywood, and she just really is an amazing, beautiful soul. We are talking about the journey of season, reason, and lifetime, and the soul growth and what it looks like, and taking you to your soul to the next level, and how people mirror you and your relationships mirror you, and how you are there for a season, reason, and lifetime. Hi, honey. How are you? And you guys know Amanda is one of my lifetimes. She is my soul sister, and I love her with my soul. So hi.
Yes,
How are you? How are you doing, honey?
Good. Thank you for that introduction. I love you so much, of course. So, again, yes, you're my soul sister, and everything in life right now is really about trying to connect with those soul people, because we really need a lot of light, I think, in our lives. So, yeah, I'm good. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much. So why don't we start maybe with your journey, because your journey is such a beautiful gift, right? And I say all the time, through the pain, the darkness is always the light, right? And everybody on this channel knows my story of everything that I went through to get to the light, but through your pain is your purpose, right? And so let's talk about like how you got to where you are. I mean, you're seriously like you're this massive PR person in Hollywood, and you're an amazing writer. You're a published author, and you just bring so much light to the world through your creative expression. But it was never an easy journey to get there, right?
No, definitely not. Yeah, I guess to make it a little bit shorter of a story, I really went through a lot of like dark times, especially when I was younger. I had an alcoholic father. I had a lot of deaths that happened, including my father. And I went through a really dark time. I came out of college from speech and debate, and I wasn't in love with the process. I was in love with the wins. So once that was done and it was completed, all of a sudden I felt really lost, because I spent 4 years like every weekend traveling and performing and writing and doing all those things. And all of a sudden I'm graduated and I'm on my own, kind of, right? Mm-hmm. And so I lost that community in a way. So I came into Hollywood. I was in Long Beach, and I I went to the rock and roll scene, music and all that stuff, which was a roller coaster. Yeah, dated a lot of the wrong men, and however, during that time, I did a lot of guerrilla marketing. I'm a giver, and so also a perfectionist at times. So I wanted to, help my boyfriends out, their bands out and things like that. And as we know, I was in the rock and roll scene, so they didn't have much money. So a lot of it came from guerrilla marketing and really getting to know people and understanding like music in a different type of way, because I'm not a musician, right? So I just learned how to get people to an event just basically by reaching out, and a lot of hard work and hours, and just kind of got wrapped up into that scene until I was ready to be done. And then I met a couple different bosses that were not so great, but I learned a lot.
I have a backstory, so I'm gonna say you're being kind, right?
Very, very kind. I think the older men taking advantage of a girl's tenacity and hard work, and really not giving me what I was owed. However, I did do a lot of things in that time, even though it was painful. But I'm not one of those people that will quit. So I kept going, and then I decided to, you know what, I'm done. I'm done getting pushed around. I'm doing all the work anyway. They're getting all the credit for it. And I was like, I'm going to create Samoyloff PR and just see what happens, right? Like I had all the connections anyway, and I knew music. So I did, and it was successful. I started working with a lot of musicians again. since I knew it. But better
Well,
people.
music is in your soul. I mean, that's definitely that when we talk about the soul, right? There's those musicians that you come from along. You tap into their souls and you understand
Yeah.
them.
I think it's just creative thought. And like, obviously
Yeah.
I'll talk about that later. And that's where the poetry kind of comes in as well. But I think, and prior to that, I was always doing acting and stuff. And in this time, I was doing acting on the side. That's why I decided to also go over and, start doing a corporate job, because I was down doing the bartending. It was exhausting, and I wasn't getting home till 5 a.m. It was almost impossible to do auditions. So I was like, I need to do this. So I went ahead and created it, and it was successful, and it kept building. And from there, I got another job opportunity. So I left like Samoyloff PR for a minute again. So we're going to talk about patterns, all right? Like when it keeps showing up, another terrible boss that was taking it. Learned it again. Had to learn it again. So it seemed like a great opportunity. And in the end, it just reminded me that I need to trust myself, and I need to constantly lean on myself and the other people that are around me, and not let people take advantage of me. And I relaunched Samoyloff PR almost a year and 3 months ago, after leaving for a bit. And yeah, it's doing fantastic. I'm really happy about it. I have really great clients. I'm also picky about my clients. I actually choose them. I don't want, I've had some clients where I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, this is going to be like a long, long time of a lot of hard work, of something I wasn't passionate about, right? I did a financial firm, and no offense to financials, right? But numbers and mathematics and trying to create a story with that wasn't happening. So it was, learning curve. But yeah, I feel like I got a good flow now, figuring it out in COVID.
That's amazing. So let's talk about fear and along that journey, and what, going through, and you said a couple things, right? You said patterns, and we're talking about like the soul growth on this show. That's what we talk about, is the health, wellness, and consciousness, the soul growth. And so let's talk about the fear, one, of being an entrepreneur, one, being a woman in Hollywood, a young, gorgeous woman in Hollywood, right? What that looks like. And you said a couple things, but I know the depths of the stories, and they're not very nice or pleasant. Let's talk about getting through the fear to become like massively successful as you are, right? Because you're this young, beautiful girl in Hollywood, and there's older men that are taking advantage of you, or trying to take advantage of you. And you could have gone down that road, and you could have used your instead of you using your internal gifts, right? You could have used your external beauty to get what you wanted, and you didn't. What you did was you worked really hard, and you readjusted, and you pivoted. And let's talk about like the soul's journey of the depths of what that looks like when you're in fear, and how you have to grow, and how you have to move through the fear to get to a different place.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to tell you about what happened when I left this last business before I restarted Smoyloff PR. So things weren't going so good. A lot of people were like leaving. The boss just didn't have a good soul, and he just was, snake, and having to work underneath him made me feel bad, horrible even, right? So he was trying to have me do some stuff with some clients, and I was like, I can't do that. There's no integrity there. There's no honesty. And actually it physically manifested into my body, where it went into a fight or flight situation, where my calves were contracting, like they were running all the time. So I couldn't hardly walk. And so I like kind of was like, okay, what's happening? And it was literally my soul rejecting that so badly that my senses thought I was in a fight or flight situation. So I have to go. I have to, because, this isn't for me. And yeah, was it scary? 100%. I had a salary. I had a paycheck that was definitely coming in at this time, and to like start back into Smoyloff PR, where I hadn't talked to clients for a year, and I was just nervous. However, once I did it, and I went off, the ledge, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to try it. It was beautiful, and it was great. It was just kind of getting past that fear. And so it was difficult. Yeah, of course. Like there's always those doubts. You're like, especially with those types of people too, when you leave them, those bosses, oh, okay, good luck. Try to do it without me. Or, oh, okay, so you don't want a steady paycheck. Okay, well, I'll see you again in like a couple months. And it's that like narcissistic, bully type of mentality where that's how they usually keep people stapled down. And I had to get out of it. And thankfully it worked out.
Well, you said so many good juicy nuggets in there, and so let's talk about the soul's journey of how we make the mind body connection. And you said physically it came out in your body that you knew your soul wasn't in the right place, right? And so let's talk about that, because when you are not on your soul's purpose, when you're not on your soul's journey, when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, even if it feels like, oh, this season and reason and lifetime is okay in this time of my life, your soul will, things will happen. Like your physical body will think your cabin into contraction, you'll get sick, you can get into a car accident. Like if you're not moving towards your soul's purpose, obviously, Smoy PR is your soul's purpose, right? You are here to have a gift to bring, so many brands out there. And when you were not living your soul's purpose, your body physically showed you, right? And remember with me also, it was like, I took a break from all this stuff, and then I had a spinal infection, and I was in the hospital for 2 weeks and I couldn't walk. It's because your body is telling you that's the wrong direction. No. Hey, go the wrong direction. And God, source, the universe, or your highest self, whatever you guys believe it to be, talks to you all day, every day. And your body talks to you, right? It's like, nope, that's not the right avenue. Nope, that's not the right avenue. Okay, you're not listening. We're going to pull the rug out from underneath you, right? And so let's talk about your soul and relationships along the journey, and how the season, reason, lifetime, tying it all together is that how you've had these people. Some of them were magnificent and incredible, and some of them were just there to teach you, but they taught you to be a better version of you, right? I mean, you are the best version of you I've ever known you to be right now, right? And it's because you had to go through all of that. You actually had to give up your company to realize that your company was your soul's purpose, right? Which is kind of crazy, but true. So let's talk about that.
It's just okay. So let's talk about the people that I went through and learning from them, I guess. Yeah. Okay. I think that when you see bad behavior and you see it in such a big way, you realize like that's exactly what I don't want to be. And there's like a quote that says like, I never knew what love was until I knew what love was not. And so I think that goes like, if you're going to put that together, that's essentially what the business part of that was for me, right? When you see somebody operating in a way that you're like, that's not good. Like, I never will do that to anybody, right? However, who knows if I hadn't ever been in a situation with like these people, I know I wouldn't have ever been horrible, but I don't know. I guess you figure out different steps in order to handle people after you see people do it terribly. So that was a really good lesson. I did take a lot. I took a lot from, and I'm not saying that these men were completely useless in the sense that they didn't teach me things outside of it. Like I learned some skills, I learned some like sales skills that like I didn't have before. I was a lot more meek. I wasn't as on the phone. I wasn't as aggressive, but I don't do it in their way, right? My aggression is more of like, hey, what's going on? Let's talk. Let's have a, good conversation. But I learned a lot and I won't take that away from them. But I'm happy that I've moved on from that. Now, there's other people that I met on that path, like my business partner, Vanessa, who was at that same company with me, who left about a month before me because of the same reasons. And she came along the journey with me in Samoyloff PR. And she's literally the best human and the greatest asset to me as I was launching it, especially because now I had another strong woman that I trusted who worked just as hard as I did. And had her own unique traits that where I might have not been as strong as she was really strong in, and vice versa. But because of this horrible situation, and we say it all the time, the only reason why we were in that was to meet, because once we met, then we launched, and there you go, right? And so
we met at like some event that I wasn't even supposed to be at, right? It was like some random event that our friend Joshua called us up and said, he called me up and he's like, hey, I have tickets. Do you want to come to LA with me? And I'm like, sure, when? He's like, in like 20 minutes. And I had no idea. And so I threw on a dress and then we met. And so Let's talk about that, because it's such a incredible thing how the universe, like I say dance all the time, I dance with the universe all the time, right? And you and I, the night that we met, we like giggled and laughed literally for like 4 hours straight, right?
Drank a lot of wine.
We had a lot of wine. And so let's talk about that, like with you and even like Cody, who's your soul brother, and I met him and it was an instant connection. And it's, let's talk about the ripple effect of just that one drop in the ocean, right? It's the one drop in the ocean that these people are like your soul family, right? They just find you. We just find each other, and it's the craziest, weirdest circumstances sometimes, but your soul family and your soul tribe just really finds each other, right? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, that was so random. Like I wasn't even supposed to go to that event either, really. And he kind of called me in the afternoon and said, "Hey, this is what's going on." And I was like, "Okay, all right, whatever." So, got dressed, and then immediately we met, and it was just like, I could just tell the energy. It was right here. Right. And you just know that, right? Like when you feel those types of connections. However, from there, I had no idea that it would expand to where it is now. Right. Like we worked together, we did cool events together. I've gone to your classes down in San Diego, which expanded my mind and my soul, my consciousness in such a huge, wonderful way. I brought Cody along, who said the same thing, and we felt our life change. And it's fantastic that that's the spider web of everything. But it's crazy. I mean, I really don't have much. I don't know. What do you have to say about it?
Let's talk about the relationships that we think are our soul's family, the reasons, right? Because the seasons are really fun, and we're not seasons, we're lifetimes, right? And
we're lifetimes.
Your soul tribe is your lifetime, right? Your soul tribe is like, you guys, we committed to this, let's go. And sometimes you go off in different ways, but you always come your way home, right? That's what I say about your soul tribe. You always find your way home with your lifetimes. You just do. And your seasons are like, oh my gosh, you and I are like adventure junkies. We're like, oh my God, let's go jump off a cliff. Okay, you're the coolest person in the world. And then it like ends, right? So let's talk about the seasons and the reasons, because the reasons, you and I have had both a lot of reasons, right? That are not so fabulous. And so let's talk about that and what that looks like going through when the season ends and you have to actually detach from people, and the reason when we actually have to do the soul work and we have to look within and say, oh my gosh, I love you, but I love me more. And I know both of us have gone through that. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. I mean, you'll get connected and you think, wow, this is it. Like, this is a person, whether that's a romantic relationship or a friendship. I mean, I've had quite a few of friends come and go, and, relationships past. And at first you're just like, this is amazing. Everything's perfect. And you're just on this train, right? And you're not conscious about it. You're just going. You're just like, I'm going. You're jumping off the cliff. Let's do it. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, this train isn't going in the direction I thought we were going in. We're going the opposite way. How do I get off of this? And it's hard because it's going really fast, right? Yeah. And that's how I feel. And then when you make that decision, it's painful. I think it's incredibly painful, even if it's a seasons person, because one, you don't trust yourself, because you're like, why did I jump into something that was maybe not the best thing for me? But then it goes into, what's the learning lesson here, or the reason for it? Why did I have to do that? And be gentle with yourself, clearly, right? Because we can be really harsh on ourselves. And yeah, it's like, but we're learning. We're constantly learning. And all those seasons teach us something new. And we have to be responsible to take ownership of what that reason is. Because if we don't, then you're going to constantly go on that same train. And I've been on the same train 6 or 7 times. I'm hoping I'm
picking you off that train.
I'm off the train right now. Okay. I'm off the train. But I think I finally figured it out, right? But I think it's really, really important to have those seasons people, because the lifetime people teach you love and light, but the seasons people teach you the darkness. And I think it's really important to know the dark in order to be more, abundant in your own light, and to also be empathetic and listen to people and hear people out and be a conscious human being to people that are probably not in the same I guess, vibrational places you are. But yeah, I think that most of my best lessons have happened in the darkness. Right. So yeah.
That's so much. I mean, God, what you just said there is so beautiful. It was literally, you have to trust yourself and you have to trust your intuition. You have to trust yourself that it's time to move on. You have to literally understand that this person brought you something during that time, and you have to find the light within you, not within your external, right? And that was just such a beautiful gift. We are going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about you being a creative, and the poetry that you bring to this world is... It touches people's soul. It really is just so magnificent. And not that you're not this massive PR magnet, but your creative genius is just beyond belief. And we're going to talk about being a conscious creator and what that means and bringing that out into the world. And we will be right back, guys. I'll see you in just a minute. Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for everyone watching the replay. We are talking about soul growth. We're talking about season, reason, and lifetime. We talked about how to trust yourself and your inner light. We talked about actually understanding that people teach you, regardless of the situation, regardless of how dark it is, you can always get to a point of light. We are with Amanda Samoyloff, who is my beautiful soul sister, and she is a PR magnet. She is a conscious creator, and she's a poet. She's an author. She's an actress, and she just brings so much light to this world. Hi, my beautiful friend. Welcome back. So let's talk about conscious creating. Let's talk about you being in the world of creation, right? You're in Hollywood, and Hollywood is a beautiful, I'm in Southern California as well, a couple hours south, but just a little bit.
I'm aware of how far away you are. Okay.
But the world that we live in is not an easy world by any means. And as leaders, as conscious creators, it is our responsibility to bring a gift to the world, right? We get to bring our light to the world through our creations. We get to create on a higher vibration and raise the frequency of the planet. And we get to do that. And there are many people that don't do that, right? There are many people that just, right from the darkness, or they engage in the darkness. You really, you embrace the dark to find the light, right? You really do. And so let's talk about creating from that space, because that's, your poetry is off the charts, and it's so beautiful. And you as an author and a writer, there's no gift greater to this world than that, for sure.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I guess I always was a writer. I always journaled when I was a little kid. I didn't really know that was something. I have all my journals. So I've read back through them, and I was like, wow, I was really pretty conscious even when I was 11. And it's interesting. I really didn't kind of get into the poetry aspect until kind of in college. Right. And it was really kind of eye-opening for me, because as much as I can understand something in the aftermath, and I can tell you the reasons why that happened, or how do I make sense of it, I don't really know those answers. And I didn't know that, the emotional answers or anything like that, until I start putting pen to paper. And I literally have written poems, and I didn't even know that was what the answer was, or what that feeling was, until it was down. And it's just like a subconscious thought. It just flows, right? And I'm not sitting there going, I'm going to write about this. I just start writing. And it helped me get through a lot of things. It helped me understand my emotions and a lot of the darkness, a lot of my poetry. I mean, anybody that reads it, they'll see that it's really dark. And it's not really really happy go lucky or anything like that.
No, but it's beautiful. It's soulful. It's really soulful.
Yeah. Thank you. But yeah, it's raw emotions, and I was never ever planning on sharing any of it ever. I that was mine. It was my own, and it was really stressful because it wasn't for digestion. It wasn't for somebody else to take, because I felt like that was a piece of me, and to give it out to the world felt like I was being I don't know, like betraying my own subconscious or my conscious, right? Until a good friend told me, they're like, well, a lot of people don't know how to express what you're saying, and that could help other people understand those dark bouts or make them feel less lonely, because they're like, oh, somebody else has gone through the same thing. And so I was like, okay, I'll release some stuff. And it got well received. It was really well received. And then people started saying, okay, write something new. Like, here, can you do something like this? And it was horrible. It was horrible work, because I was trying.
Same. Like when people tell you, when you're in the flow and you get divine intervention and it's a download, there's no other feeling. And then when people tell you, no, you have to do it this way, and it needs to be done, and it's like it goes against the grain of your soul, right? It's like, no, this is who I am, right? And
production, it's like this goal. It's not on fast forward, But yes, that's 100%. And I feel like it was forced, right? And that wasn't what it was supposed to be. And there's also other poems that I started like 3 or 4 years ago, and it took me 4 years to finish it because I didn't know the answer yet, right, to what the emotion was or the end of the story, I guess. And there's other ones that I write like in 2 seconds. It just comes to me like if I'm running, and for me it's body in motion. So if I'm on a hike, a lot of stuff comes to me then, because I'm a go person, but I'm doing like 10 things at once, so that like forces me to like, my body's in motion, music on, and you're like centered. So I found a lot of myself through my writing. I found that I didn't have to shy away from the darkness, and that it could still be beautiful. And I love it. I do like writing, and I love poetry, and I'm happy if people love it. It's great. But if they don't, then it doesn't matter, because it's for me.
I love that so much. Yeah. And that I think that's, you share the fact that you share a piece of your soul with everyone, and you get so vulnerable in your writing. Like it is raw and real, and it allows someone else that platform, and you're actually holding space, and you don't even know that you're doing this, honey, but you're holding space for others to be that vulnerable, right? You're holding space for others to see that darkness is okay, because the darkness is here, right? And we talk about the law of polarity on this channel all the time, right? You cannot have the light without the dark, right? You just can't. That's just science. You cannot. I mean, it's if you're in the darkness, you can turn on the light, right? And so you can't have the light without the dark, but you can't have the dark without the light either. Right. You allow souls to get vulnerable with your writing, and so let's talk about vulnerability, because that's I mean, in the public eye, it's our life is not really private ever, right? I mean, what you do and what I do, there's just no privacy at all. Like,
opinions,
and when we send love and light out into the world, some people take it the wrong way and think that they're like we're actually in love with them when we're in relationships, right? And so it's this weird dynamic between being a public figure and actually like living in reality, right? And so let's talk about being vulnerable, because I mean, I'm always raw and real. I think that my audience knows all of my story, right? I mean, I speak publicly about being sexually abused, and my dad being an alcoholic, and being, in a toxic relationship as a marriage, and then going through the toxicity of my life. But I speak openly about that because I'm at peace with it, right? Yeah. And I teach it now, and I can come to a place where I understand that darkness happens because we're still embodied in a human form, right? And when we're not in human form anymore and we're in the angelic realms, that's when we won't have to deal with the darkness, right? And so that's where our souls have expanded to the highest level. So vulnerability in the public eye, because today's society, you can go on Instagram and everything looks so pretty, right? And it's fake, and it's the raw and real of this life, and being a conscious creator in this life. Let's talk about that, because there are often times where people hide behind things, especially in the world we live in, and their life is just not real, and it seems like it's bubbles and unicorns, and honestly not, right? I mean, there are moments where you and I are a unicorn, right? We live in unicorn land, and we have fun, and we're always happy, but we're not always happy behind the scenes, right? And so let's talk about being vulnerable, because that's so raw and real. And I feel like there's two sides of you. I feel, which there's two sides of everybody, but you specifically, like, there's this beautiful light in the PR world where you bring other people's brands to life, right? You really do. And then there's the creative dark, you write in the darkness, but it's your soul, right? And so exposure of the vulnerability for both ends of it. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Being vulnerable was really, really tough for me at first. And I guess, like, to touch back on what I had said, like, it was never intended for me to share myself like that. And then once I did, I was like, okay, I see what's happening here. Right. But yeah, I mean, being really vulnerable is there's a lot of power in it once you start doing it. Right. Because at least you can go to bed at night knowing that you're being truthful to yourself and you're honest with yourself. I think that no matter what, a lot of people are going to try to take you down when you're really vulnerable or very real, because they're afraid of it, because they can't do it. But like that vulnerability okay, so I guess how I would say it is there were a lot of things that I was keeping into myself for a long time. I didn't really express a lot of my emotions. I kept it here, and it was killing me inside in my early 20s, especially. And when I wrote it down and I was vulnerable and I was honest with myself, I'll go right back for a second. I was so afraid to lose that pain because I felt that means I would forget somebody, or forget somebody who passed away, or forget the pain because that made it real, right? Like otherwise I was letting it go. And so I held on to this like darkness for so long, and that vulnerability of finally being like, no, I'm putting it on paper and it's not just mine. And I shared it. I let it go. Like I gave it out to the world, and then I didn't feel like I had to hold on to it anymore. It had a space and it was going to live forever because now it's in writing and it's in the world, it's in the ether. So I didn't have to hold on to it by myself anymore. And that really was the vulnerability being really light for me. And it showcased that we need to like let those things go in whichever way we can creatively, for me at least, or be honest with people around you. But yeah, that was the big aha moment when I finally was able to put some ghosts to rest.
I love that so much. Oh my gosh. So let's talk about detachment and putting ghosts to rest, right? That's a big, you and I have had to put many ghosts to rest, including our fathers, right? And that's the men in our life establish the relationships that we called in because we had those ghosts. But once those ghosts were put to rest, it was this beautiful journey of self, right? And so let's talk about that.
Yeah, just like, well, sometimes we hold on to ghosts for a really long time sometimes. And again, I think it's a lot to do with, it's not necessarily the person, or it's maybe the person you were either with that human being, or being afraid of forgetting them because it's sad or whatever. But when you do more justice by letting ghosts go, I guess. Like even in like movies and stuff, although that's cliche to say, once like they stopped, they were allowed to go on, right? But that's a conscious thing. That's nothing to do with the ghost. It's you being able to move on with your life. And obviously, I held on to my dad's ghost for a really, really, really long time. And when I finally was able to release that, I was like, whoa, I have been dating my father for the last 10 years.
I think I married my father, yes.
You're like, oh my God, I didn't get that far. I almost did. That would have been horrible. But, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You kind of see the light of day and you're like, oh my gosh, well, that ghost was next to me. And so I was trying to like put like an actual body with that ghost, like that spirit, like whatever. Oh, that fits there. That fits the mold. And when I finally let it go, I was like, oh my God, I can breathe. And I can objectively see men coming into my life and know that that's like, oh, that's a red flag, or that's not what I want again. Right. And it's just a betterment, and not even just men, even just myself. Right. Even in my workplace, with these men that were CEOs that were very aggressive, they were aggressors, and the same kind of a vibration. Right. So I think that a lot of my life opened up once I let them go. And it's a weird thing. You hold on so tight, and then when you finally let go, it feels so great. You're like, why did I do this for so long? You're like, oh.
It's so true. It's so true. And so let's talk about that and life lessons and how they repeat themselves over and over again with different people in different circumstances until you actually embody the lesson. And then once you embody the lesson, it's literally that same feeling that you just expressed, where it's like, oh my God, like this is like, I that's not even who I am anymore. I can't even understand how I was at that vibration, but there was a lesson there for me. And so the lessons repeat themselves over and over again with different people in different circumstances. And so they begin at a very young age. And with us, they began with our father and me, my grandfather, right? Both of the men in my life died very, very young. And so, that is actually such a freeing, like when you get to a different vibration, where you get to the point, and you and I talked about this yesterday, right? Where we're like, when you get to the point where you're bored with what was going on, or you get to the point where you just kind of feel bad for it. Like you just don't vibrate with it anymore, where at one point you missed that person or you missed that lesson, and you called it in over and over again into your life. You know that you've moved past it when you just don't resonate with that vibration anymore, whether it's a person or a thing, right? You just don't resonate with that anymore. So talk a little bit about that, and literally like resonating with people on their soul, and then just allowing it to be a different, when you elevate, some people don't come with you, right?
Right, of course. Yeah, they can't. And it's like, and it's actually kind of painful though, because you feel yourself elevate, and then you realize that so it's hard for other people sometimes, like really, really hard. And it's hard for you because, now it's like, I've already made it, like my soul made its mind up. Like you can't come with me, and I can't go back down. So it is difficult. And sometimes we'll stay anchored because of guilt or sadness for that person, or you feel bad, but you have to cut that chain. I think for me, I continuously, had the same lesson. And a lot of it was that it was ego, right? I was trying to prove myself right, that like, oh, this type of person isn't going to choose me because of this. And then I would do all the things that I thought that I would sabotage, or pick the people that I knew wouldn't be able to be saved, and then be like, aha. And like, you want to be right, even if it's a horrible thing. So my ego was just like, see, told ya. It happened again. That's how it is. But it also made me feel better, because that means that everybody's like that. And it wasn't just my dad that didn't choose me. Right. So then it's like, so then it was the pattern of that. And then I was like, but I haven't been choosing me. Who saves me? Right. And so I finally was like, I'm done. Like, I need to be there for myself, because nobody was there for me. And I was always there for the other person who wasn't giving back. So, it's pretty big, but kind of turning yourself around and seeing your like younger self and being like, hey, come with me. Let's go. Let's get out of here. And
speaking my language right there, talking to your younger self, right? With the conversations with your younger self. And that's actually a huge point. We laugh about it because we've done the work together, but like really truly reparenting yourself, because we have to understand is that the people do the best that they can at the moment of the time and the level of consciousness that they're at, right? And so when we have expectations of somebody, or self-sabotage because of our own internal expectations of he's never going to love me the way I need to be loved, or that's a victim mentality, right? The victim, the prosecutor, the hero loop. My friend Mimi says that all the time. And it truly is just stepping outside of that and having enough self-love and saying, you know what? I actually deserve more. And these are the patterns. Like, and if you look at somebody, and this is really like a little life hack, but it's kind of funny. But if you look at somebody as a lesson as opposed to a person and emotions that attached to that, it's a lot easier to say, oh, I don't really like that lesson right now, so you can go.
I don't want that anymore. I'm done.
I'm going to open the door because that lesson can leave, right?
That's not for me.
Oh my gosh, I love you so much. Thank you so much for being on here. So what do you have going on? I know that you like writing a book, right? And you just relaunched a year and a half ago, but you're finally like in full blown doing your PR, and you have such big things to bring to this world. So tell us what's going on and what with you.
Samoyloff PR is where you can find me. I work with all types of clients. I bring out their unique story and their narrative in kind of the same ways I do for myself. I'm a creative, so I feel like that goes. It ebbs and flows really well with those clients. And I also work with people that aren't even in creatives. So it's anybody. And I am writing a poetry book. It will be out on March 21st, 2021. That's my birthday, and it is World Poetry Day, interestingly enough.
Well, we were supposed to have a big birthday party, and then COVID happened. So I think that we need to have like a launch on your birthday this year.
We'll have a launch on my birthday, powers that be, please. But yeah, so, and that's called Smoyetry. So that's SMOETRY _ on Instagram if you want to find me, and Samoyloff PR, SAMOYLOFF PR. And that's across the board. So, but thank you so much for having me. I love you so much. You are my soul.
So much too. And so your book is coming out in March, and that's all poetry. Is that right?
Yeah, it's gonna be from all the way from when I was a kid. So it's going to be.
Oh my gosh! So you saved your poetry since you're a kid?
Well, there's I'm taking some journal entries and I'm putting them in when I was like 8 into like 16. So.
Oh my gosh! That's going to be such a healing therapeutic one for you, but for everybody else too.
Yeah.
What a gift that is to the world. Thank you for being on, and thank you for bringing your gifts to this world. I love you so much, and we will connect soon and in person and give each other a hug because it's been way too long since.
All right, well, thank you so much again. You're amazing, and we will talk soon.
Okay, I will see you soon, love.
Bye.
So guys, thank you so much for joining us today. What a beautiful, beautiful show. What a beautiful gift to Smoy has brought us. She has brought the poetry to this world. She is a beautiful, beautiful gift of a PR magnet as well. And just know on this journey, guys, that there is so many beautiful souls that you're going to have support from. And there are going to be so many beautiful souls that really, truly may not come on this journey with you. And that's what I wanted to close with, is that sometimes on this journey, and one of the hardest things you can understand, but it is probably the greatest lesson that you will ever learn, is that not everybody is going to come on this journey with you. And what I mean by that is that there may be people that want to keep you small because they really felt safe when you were small. They may, and self-sabotage, you may want to keep yourself small because it feels so much better to stay in that space, right, guys? It feels so much safer to not grow. But I promise you, I promise you guys, if you take the risk and you go through that fear and you see on the other end of that pain or the other end of that fear, you're going to find your purpose. You're going to find your meaning in life. You're going to be here. Every one of you have this magical gift to bring to the world. Every one of you has an incredible, beautiful gift that is a light within inside of you to light up that soul. And Smoy said something so incredible, that there is never an external source that comes out, guys, that is making that light shine. That light comes from within you. That soul light, that soul purpose comes from within you. Never can anyone ever tell you. They can maybe help you and guide you and show you on your journey, but never can anyone tell you what your soul is yearning for, what your soul is looking for, what your soul is wanting to bring to this world, because each of you have something magnificent to bring to this world. And the most important thing I can teach you today, guys, is that the greatest gift is relationship. relationship with others, relationship with yourself, relationship with your highest self, with God, source, and the universe. When you make the mind-body connection and you connect with your body and you connect with your mind and you connect with your energy fields and you connect with your soul, you connect on the highest level to other people, and you get to raise your vibration. You get to bring beautiful consciousness out to the world. And when you do that, and when you tap in to that God source energy, that life force energy, that prana that is within you, you have this powerful gift to bring to the world. Everyone is showing you where you are. If you want to understand frequency and vibration, we talk about that all the time on this show. Everyone can raise their frequency and go from fear to freedom in 1 second. How do you do that? You understand and you detach from the emotion of something and from people, and you look at them. Every person in your life, season, reason, and lifetime is a gift. Every interaction you have with anyone is an opportunity for you to be a greater and higher version of yourself. Every interaction with yourself, every lesson that is presenting itself over and over and over again is a greater version of you just longing to come through. I am so grateful for you guys. And I just honestly want to tell you that if for any reason you want to share and like and subscribe to this and it resonates with you, please go to noelleagape.com. Our gift is to bring this gift out into the world, to share love and light out into the world, to literally understand that there is a better world out there. There is a greater world out there. We get to be the light in this world, guys. We get to share this out. Again, my name is Noelle Agape. I am a leading expert in health, wellness, and consciousness. I am here to change the vibration of the planet. My entire purpose on this planet is to bring love and light out into this world, to make you understand that there is a greater version of you within you. And I promise you, everyone on your soul's journey is a beautiful gift to you. I promise you also that the more that we come together and the more that we raise our vibration, we move this world together from our internal space. We tap into our power, we tap into our strength, we tap into love, and we tap into wisdom, and we share that out to the universe. So please, again, share this message, as we have so many people that need to hear this message. I love you guys, and I am so, so grateful for you, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys.